Hi, everyone. John Michael Coppola here, and welcome to the Chicago Theater Makers Podcast, where we chat with the actors, directors, choreographers, designers, producers, music directors, lyricists, playwrights, and all the artists who make the Chicago area theaters come alive. We're so excited to have you here with us today. But before we get started, we just want to remind you to please like, subscribe to, and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues who you think would appreciate the conversations we're having. We'd be so grateful for your support in this way so we can continue to bring these stories for years to come. Thanks again for being here, and now, curtain up on today's episode. Today's guest is a Broadway veteran who has appeared in the original New York casts of Ragtime and Candide, joined the long-running A Chorus Line, and toured nationally with Urinetown, Bob Fosse's Dancin, and the original Cabaret, where he understudied the legendary Joel Grey. In 2011, he inaugurated Paramount Theater's Broadway series as artistic director with President and CEO Tim Rader with their critically acclaimed production of My Fair Lady. With a subscriber base then of 12,500 patrons, it has grown to 40,000 subscribers, the largest subscription-based theater in the country. In 2015, Paramount became Jeff Award eligible. Since then, the theater has garnered over 150 nominations with 30 wins, including 3 Best Musical Awards for Les Mis, West Side Story, and Sweeney Todd, the last 2 of which he also won Jeff Awards for Best Director. Finally, he remains the sole honoree to have won Jeff Awards as an actor, choreographer, and director. This season, the Paramount holds the record for the most Jeff nominations in a single season with 26, breaking its previous record of 18 during the 2016-17 season. Paramount's current production of Million Dollar Quartet is running into its second year at the venue's new Stolp Island Theater. I hope you enjoy my conversation with the incomparable Jim Corti. Now let's go to the top of the show. Jim, I'm so excited to have you here. How are you, my friend?
It's a beautiful day here in Aurora on the Fox River. The sun is shining.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Good to see you, John.
You too, my friend. I'm so honored to have you here. So listen, this is, of course, a Chicago Theater Makers podcast. And as is our custom here, I always ask our guests the very same question at the top of the show. And that is to please tell our listeners a little bit about your background, a little bit about your training, but most importantly, your first theater experience. So
Wow.
Yeah. And take all the time you need. There's no stopwatch here.
Jersey boy, born in Trenton. Parents, Italian Catholic. Parents moved out to the suburbs in the 50s like everybody was doing. Catholic school taught by nuns. Catholic high school taught by nuns. The nuns, my first experience was in the St. Raphael's Church Christmas show. There was a men's club that my dad was a member of. And we had a Christmas show. And I remember the fellow student who was singing The Little Drummer Boy was having a hard time. And for some reason, I'm mouthing it along on the side here. And Sister Thomas Marie sees me and she goes, "Corti, get up there." And I fucking nail it. They have me going to hospitals and singing it in hospitals. I got to senior homes, singing it for the seniors. I did a little tour singing The Little Drummer Boy.
Just the one song.
Just the one song. Another early on thing was I would sing and dance around the house, and my parents were like going, "Oh, he's pretty good." So they get me into a dance class that is taught by a Broadway actor, Edward Earl. God, I haven't talked about this stuff. And he had a school in downtown Trenton that I would start taking classes to. And it turned out he was choreographing Othello for Princeton's McCarter Theater.
Okay.
And they were doing some kind of fertility ritual with a young boy and a young girl. And I was chosen to be the young boy. And the first time I sat in a theater behind the director, I believe me, I was wowed to be in the men's dressing room. But I didn't stay there. I actually wandered into one of the actresses' dressing room, the woman playing Amelia. What are you doing in my dressing room? I said, sorry. But I would sit behind the director. His name was Lee Opp. And I'm watching, just happened to be watching the scene where Desdemona is in bed and they're representing her as being like naked.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them teching how to drape the sheet down her back and show more back to the audience. So she's talking to Othello with her back to the audience.
Yeah.
And they're carefully draping it. And the director goes, now don't get it on backwards. And she goes, you bitch. So this is like
your first
my first experiences in the theater. And really, I must have been all of 11 years old.
And you were hooked.
Oh, yeah.
You bitch.
I took my sisters are in dance class. My mom is like, come on, I got to pick up your sisters. And I go with her. We're watching them do the routine. They were learning that evening. And she sees me like, she goes, would you like to do that? Do you think you could do that? And I go, yeah, I could do that. It's right out of a chorus line.
I was just going to say, just like Mike in a chorus line, yeah.
And so I started tap dancing lessons for a little bit. I don't know. I was getting called a sissy, and
just like Mike in the chorus line,
right? But by the time I got into high school, there was the Glee Club, the Drama Club, the Spring Musical, and I got into all of that. And that really prepped me for, I came to Chicago to attend Loyola University. I was also really gaining in creative writing. I was writing short stories. And the nuns were going, well, you're going to a Jesuit university and we're going to get you in. And I got full scholarship to Loyola.
Fantastic.
Came out here, it must have been the late 60s, like 67 for the first time. I was a pretty preppy kid, khakis and white bucks and, my patrol boy badge. And, boy, I got here first time away from home, grew my hair down to my shoulders, bell bottoms, didn't go to class. I get called up to the dean's office, who's a Jesuit priest. And he goes, James, this doesn't look good. You're on full scholarship and on academic probation. And I said, sorry, Father, I will fix that. And I figured out how to ace everything. It's about putting yourself into your writing, not giving back the lecture exactly as they read it, but to put yourself into it. I started acing everything. I got on the dean's list.
Fabulous.
And then I got, at Loyola, we had an incredible moment of a European artists program where I studied with teachers from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, Central School of London, and the Abbey Theatre in Dublin.
Wow.
Just amazing.
And did they come here or did you go there?
They came to Rogers Park. Wow. The lake, what did we call it? Campus, Lakeshore Campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, up on Loyola Avenue. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was incredible, the work we were doing.
I bet.
And, and my teachers at Loyola were, Dennis Zacek, of Victory Gardens. I don't know if you're familiar.
I am. I am.
He's the founder of Victory Gardens. He was my directing teacher and acting teacher, mentor to this day. These people are with me all the time.
Yeah.
They're with me in every space I go to work.
I bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually met a friend of yours recently, Doug Post.
Oh my
Douglas Post.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
We go way back.
Yeah, I know. We actually have a mutual friend who every Sunday in the summertime they play volleyball right on Loyola Beach. My friend lives right on that block, and Doug's been playing with them for many, many years.
No kidding.
Yeah, and Rachel and I just joined them for a couple of games this summer, and we got to chatting. Oh, you're a playwright. Oh, I guess I got this podcast. Blah, blah. I actually just had James Sherman on a few weeks ago too, who just plays opening tomorrow night at Northlight. And Doug was like, "Oh, I don't know how your name came up." He goes, "Oh yeah, Jim directed one of my shows at Victory Gardens years ago. I forgot which one it was, unfortunately." But
God, what the hell was the name of it? It was Antigone. God and Country. God and Country,
yeah,
a contemporary musical based on Antigone with an all-female cast.
Okay.
You know, back in the old days, they were all male casts,
right.
Males playing women as well. He flipped it. I loved the piece. We had a great time.
Yeah, he spoke up very highly of you as well. But it's just funny how the world just collide right and left in this business.
Well, how we're still doing it.
Yeah, right. So I do want to continue on. I didn't realize that you studied in Chicago here, and then you made a career early on, and then you went on to do bigger and better things. Not that there's better things than Chicago, but certainly bigger. You've had a great career in New York and on tour, understudying Joel Grey and Cabaret, of course, and in the original company of Chorus Line, and of course Candide and Ragtime, one of my all-time favorites. I would just love to hear some of your memories from those times, because they're incredible. Very few people can speak to that period of sort of the heyday of theater. And I'd love to hear some memories if you don't mind sharing them.
Well, my first show was Leonard Bernstein's Candide. I think I'm all of 23 years old. And I go in, the Candide audition was like my third audition ever. I had a little practice.
Ever? Or in New York?
In New York.
Okay.
And I got cast before I had an apartment. You know, I was sleeping on a friend's couch in their living room.
Wow.
But while I was in Candide, everybody's going, I was the mover. I could move. I hadn't really any formal dance training. And I was just kind of a natural mover, and that's how I got cast. I mean, I was surrounded by all these classically trained opera singers in their early 20s. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Yeah. But at the audition, the choreographer, Pat Birch, John Mulcherry was the music director for Bernstein. And he's going like this. And I hear Pat Birch blurt, but he can dance. She needed a dancer, somebody who can move. So that's how I got in the door. And while I'm in Candide, all my friends are going, Jim, you should study, you should take class. And I go, all right, I will. Up a steep and very narrow stairway to Farella Studios, I started taking class. I started taking class every day. After about the first year, Ron Farella says, I want you to teach beginners, and I'll put you on full scholarship. For you teach in the morning, and you have your advanced classes in the afternoon.
Wonderful.
And I did that every day.
While doing the show at night?
Yeah. Amazing. Every day. I got into an off-Broadway show called By Bernstein that was like a transition out of Candide. But we wanted to talk about Chorus Line.
All of them. All of them. But I'm curious, what did you teach at the studio when you were on scholarship?
I taught beginners jazz.
Oh, jazz. Okay.
And the thing about Ron Farella, it is a classical ballet base.
Okay.
So you do we call it a floor in the center. You do ballet exercises in the center, balancing on 1 foot at a time. Then you go to the bar and you do a ballet bar. And then you start doing his jazz style,
Okay.
which Fosse loved. And all of the top students in that class became Fosse dancers. We all just moved right in from class into his auditions, into his shows, doing his choreography.
Fantastic.
We were just this little group.
Yeah.
All studying together, all moving through shows together. That's how I got in a chorus line, that I had 4 years of that under my belt.
4? I didn't realize that many.
Oh, yeah. And I remember getting cast. Oh, God, I can't remember his name. And one of Michael Bennett's people go, Jim, how old are you? And I go, 29. So by then, I had done a Broadway flop before that called Music Is. It was a musical version of Twelfth Night directed by George Abbott.
Oh,
and it became a model. It was a show that was developed in a regional theater in Seattle Rep. Okay. We got cast in New York. We rehearsed in New York, go to Seattle, open the show, tech the show, open the show. It runs for a month in Seattle.
Okay.
We went to the Kennedy Center for a week and closed on Broadway in a week.
Oh my gosh.
But the model was what made producing more solvent, because you made your money on the out-of-town run that you put into it.
Sure.
And so now, almost every Broadway show is developed regionally before it comes to New York.
Yeah.
It's very special when it's all done in New York. You know?
Yeah. And expensive.
Very expensive.
And all eyes are on it the entire time.
Yeah. So that's how I got in a chorus line. I'm in New York. They send me back to Chicago, not realizing that that's like where I'm from.
Right.
And I'm understudying all the guys in the opening who get cut, and Fosse and Marco and Al DeLuca. And it's the straight guy and the gay guy.
Yeah.
And you know, Jim, we've never done that before. We've never found the actor to do both those roles. Anyway, big deal. I go on as Paul. Poor guy got hepatitis. And I remember seeing Stephen Crenshaw curled up in a ball in the wings. I'm downstairs in the basement, just walking through doing Paul and just kind of rehearsing it while they're doing it above.
Yeah.
You're Ron. I go, you're kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I get dressed. I see Paul San Marco curled up in a ball over there. I look at him and I look at me, and we're dressed alike. And I feel a hand push me out of the wings onto the stage.
Was this your first time going on?
Yeah. And it's during the opening number. I think they just did the big jazz combination.
Oh my God.
Steven got really ill, just curled up in the wings. And I'm in the wings, and I get out there and I go through the show without a hitch.
Wow.
I take over the role. And when they're ready to leave Chicago, I go, I don't think I want to do the tour. I think I'm going to go back to New York. And I go back to New York, and like a week later, they tell me, we want you to do Al DeLuca on Broadway.
Fantastic.
And that's how you go through the ranks,
Yeah.
how everything's a tryout,
Yeah.
how they're assessing you and your performance. Eyes are on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did a chorus line for a couple years, and then I got into Bob Fosse's Dancin.
Now, was that your first Fosse show? Because you had mentioned
Oh yeah,
that was because you mentioned the
oh yeah,
class and how you guys all went into those shows. And
yeah,
so tell us a little bit about that because that was,
uh,
I'm sure, a big deal.
yeah. I might as well talk about it. I got fired from a chorus line twice.
Okay.
And
And you live to tell the
so
tale.
so I'm back home with my parents in Jersey, right? And I take a job in the village doing drywall with interior renovator guy.
Yeah.
And I'm doing drywall, and you know, and then we go out at night. We get up early in the morning and do drywall all day in these
Yeah.
apartments, these pretty Greenwich Village apartments, and then go party at night. We'll go buy an outfit, put it on, go out. Um, and then I heard about these auditions for Dancin,
Mm-hmm.
and I get my shit together, and I go, and he's there, and he says, "Okay, um, I need to hear you sing." And what did I sing? I sang "Something's Coming." Something's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes over and shakes my hand and says, "You're in."
Wow.
I sang. I was the MC who opened the show. What you're about to see is dancing, dancing, and more dancing. Um, I sang Mr. Bojangles. I
Oh.
played Mr. Bojangles. Um, I had the time of my life doing these dances.
Now, tell me a little bit. I obviously never saw the original. Were they recreations of the original versions of these shows, like Jerome Robbins' Broadway was, or were they reinvented by him?
No, they were. He was what I heard was Dancin was about numbers he's always wanted to do that never fit in a show.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
They were there was some original music. There was some of them were standards, but they were designs on dancers he wouldn't have a chance to do in a book musical,
I see. I see.
and they were beautiful. And we
Of
were
course.
like, I look back on it and realize we were like doing the Olympics.
Oh, I
We're
bet.
doing a 2-hour dance concert, 8 shows a week, and we started off as a bus and truck. Sleeping on the bus with our feet up on the chair in front of us.
Bus surfing to get to the toilet in the back.
You
Oh
know,
my God.
and with the
Wow.
musicians, the dancers and the musicians on the same bus.
How long did it tour like that?
A couple years.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then it started to turn into a European tour, and I had to drop out for personal reasons. Well, I'll tell you, I just had to clean up my act.
Okay.
There was a lot of drug use going on, and I realized I've got to quit the show in order to quit what I had gotten into here, and clean up my act. So I came back to Chicago. Dennis Zacek picked me right up, had me direct a new musical at Victory Gardens. It's called Your Move. It was a story put on the Monopoly board, and every street had a color and a song. And
That
It
sounds fun.
was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was back in Chicago,
Yeah.
and the first thing I got to do was direct and choreograph at Victory Gardens, and then that just started to move to theater to theater.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for sharing that. That's certainly more than I anticipated
No, you
hearing.
know what? I think getting to know the reality of things is important so that, you know, anybody listening, any of that dark place you get into, you can get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, if I can do it, you can do it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And for
Uh,
sure. And you did it with great success. I'd like to quickly ask you about Ragtime because, as I mentioned, it's
oh,
one of my favorites. And you went from acting to stopping acting for a while to directing choreograph, and then you've got this amazing show that you were in so
yeah.
brilliant in. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, I was, building my resume in Chicago. Harisse Davidson was representing me. An agent in her agency was Janet Lauer. And Janet would call me into the office and she goes, Jim, I cannot get you an audition for Ragtime. And they're just not interested. And she said, stay here. I'm going to just get them on the phone now. And she's on the phone and she's going, I'm looking at Houdini right now. I am looking at your Houdini right now. And so they're talking. And Janet gets me into the dance call for Ragtime.
Okay.
So well, we're going to go in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the dance call, and Graziella Danielle is doing these ballet combinations. Now, you know Ragtime.
Yeah.
There's no ballet in Ragtime. But that was the caliber of dancer she wanted to do all this footwork,
Yeah.
gesture. Well, I make it to the end of the dance call and I'm looking around and I swear to God, they're like all teenagers and me, right? And I know her assistant, Willie Rosario, and Willie leans over to Graziella and goes, Jim is here for Houdini. And Graziella goes, Houdini doesn't dance.
No, but
So,
he's gonna hang from a thing and or disappear in the midair. So
so now I get the Houdini audition. And Frank Galati, who directed
yeah.
that original production, rest his soul, late great Frank Galati. He's in the doorway in the studio, and he stands in the doorway, locks eyes with me, and goes to me. I'm going, well, that's a good sign. They get behind the table, and I do Houdini's music.
Yeah.
And they're all talking behind the table, back and forth. And they go, here, sing this. And it's gliding. That Tata sings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking at the music and I'm going, Tata, who's Tata? I want Houdini.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get Houdini. And so I learn it by ear right there with Stephen Flaherty, no less, playing it.
Oh, God. No pressure.
And he's like, and I'm following the notes and I got my sheet music and I come back to Chicago. I'm living on Pratt and Walcott. And on the answering machine, this is how long ago it was. On the answering machine, Jim, it's Janet. you're going to be in the original cast of Ragtime, playing Harry Houdini, and you're going to understudy Tata, one of the leads.
Wow.
And so
I'm tearing up just listening to this story right now. I can't imagine.
they fly me out to Toronto because that's where Live Ent was at the time.
Right.
And that's where all the show was being built there. And they're doing like a sampler album. And they had just written a number for Harry Houdini and Evelyn Nesbit called Showbiz.
I had that CD and I loved that song.
Oh my God.
When it was cut, I was like, oh, they cut that song. I loved that. That was the first CD I had of the show. Yeah.
The show is getting too long. And to go into, now let's spend 10 minutes with Harry and Evelyn, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And we saw it coming. We really did. We had gotten another number called I Have a Feeling. I have a feeling that the world is moving faster. I have a feeling too. And that got cut. And we got a really wonderful presence in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Both of us. And but I remember flying out to Toronto for the Showbiz. And it's a recording studio, and you gotta go downstairs. There's no windows,
Yeah.
And I'm hearing they're singing new music, and it's the entire company. I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating. There had to be at least 30 people.
It was a large company. Yeah.
Behind the booth, behind the glass, singing new music.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Mm-hmm. I'm like going, I'm in this show? It was like the most gorgeous stuff I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at all these beautiful people behind the booth, the glass booth, and then they start working with me. I just couldn't believe what was happening. Just couldn't believe it. So yeah, and then we opened in the world premiere was in Toronto, and then we opened on Broadway. There was a LA company. I don't know. There must have been some kind of a business thing about before the original company in Toronto opened in New York. Garth Drabinsky opened a company in LA.
Huh.
And what was weird was the LA company knew they weren't going to be the Broadway company.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what that was all about, but it felt a little weird.
Yeah.
That you're doing all this work in the LA production and all the changes that we're doing one version in Toronto, and the LA company is doing all the changes that are going to go to us. That was weird.
Wow. So your production in Toronto never changed until it went to New York?
No. Wow. And then we went into rehearsal in New York and they go, okay, now it's this and now it's this. And there were just slight changes. Yeah. But I felt for that cast in a way.
Yeah.
And it's not like I know how they felt. I don't think I never talked to anybody about it.
Yeah.
I just thought, wow, what's he doing opening this company? But it was to put the changes in, I guess.
Yeah. And did any of those company members join Broadway or the tour at some point?
They probably joined on the tour.
Okay.
There was a Chicago production that was identical to the Broadway production, and I know that went on tour.
Gotcha.
And then I went on tour as Tata.
Yes, I remember hearing that.
Yeah. I would God, I remember understudy rehearsals, and um, and they asked Frank, well, who's going to do Tata on the Road? Well, Jim Corti. And, and I swear there was a part of me going, are you serious? Like, he's Jewish. There are all these Jewish actors in New York.
Yeah.
But it was a different time. But even then, I felt that, I don't know about this. And when we did the reunion a couple years ago now,
Yeah.
we did the 25-year reunion, raised $1 million for the Actors Fund. It's called the Actors Community Fund now, or the
Entertainment Community Fund.
Entertainment Community Fund.
Yeah.
And there was all this stuff getting stirred up, and Jim, we'd like you to play Tata with the Cleveland Symphony. And I go, wow, okay. And I got diverticulitis.
Oh, I remember this.
And it perforated, and I got sepsis, and I couldn't do it. And I told them, you get Mark Kaplan.
Mark Kaplan. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And things happen for a reason. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but Mark told me the story of, while I'm in the hospital, Mark's on the phone going, Jimmy, one of the girls in the ensemble came up to me today and said, Mark, you and I are the only Jewish people in this production.
Yeah.
It's, all these changes are happening,
mm-hmm.
and they're good. I know they're hard, but they're the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Yeah.
Boy, I went off on a tangent.
No, that's exactly what I was hoping for. I mean, again, it was one of my favorite musicals, and to speak with somebody who was there is a thrill for me. So
working on it.
Too.
Working on it for the going back to it was for the reunion benefit was just an experience, a once in a lifetime type experience, to be with this cast 25 years later.
Yeah.
And we all liked each other back then, and to see everyone bring this maturity and life experience to the story about racism, classism, working class revolution, 25 years later, what we all had to bring to it was just overwhelming.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
It was so powerful. Audra McDonald did the Sarah's murder.
Oh, God.
And she fell to the floor in the middle of the stage and got up on her own. It was like, yeah, we got to tell this story. We got to tell this story.
Yeah.
Go out and tell the story.
Yeah. Rachel and I saw it. I don't know if it was in previews or if it had just opened at the Ford Center in New York. And we were the last row balcony.
Oh my God,
last row
John.
balcony. And that opening number happened. And those three groups were changing. And we were crying at the end of the opening number. And then the show just gets more and more. And then this powerhouse of Audra McDonald comes on stage, who nobody knew, but we were just a mess the entire show. And we were like, who's this Audra girl? Like, literally, from then on, I've been a devoted fan of hers from that day.
She played Carrie Pepperidge.
Gosh, I guess I do remember that now, but I didn't see that. Right, but I didn't see the revival, so I didn't I knew the name, but like I
I
didn't see
saw
her
her
perform her.
in that. She would sing "Here I Am" and just go flat on her back.
Oh,
Just know here I
oh
am.
my gosh. Yeah,
No one's
yeah.
ever done that.
No.
Look at this girl,
Wow.
confident, technique, and yet so loose.
Yeah.
Just not a stiff bone in her body.
No.
She's just so like,
Yeah. Magnificent.
yeah, brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So let's talk about the different hats you've worn over your career. I appreciate
Mhm.
all those stories, but as an actor, director, choreographer, which do you prefer to, what is your favorite hat to wear? Or is it the one you're wearing at that point in time?
Um, no, I remember it was during at Drury Lane Water Tower Place.
Hmm.
We opened it's the Broadway Playhouse now.
Yep.
Um, and we opened it with the Full Monty.
Mm.
And I was thrilled. Micah Weber was artistic director of Drury Lane Water Tower Place,
Hmm.
called me in from New York, uh, and I couldn't have been more excited. And I had an experience where I would go home at night after rehearsals, and I kind of meditate on things, and this just kind of receiving,
Hmm.
And I'm like, that was really good today. How did you know how to do that?
Hmm.
And I said, I don't know how I know how to do that, but I've got to take responsibility for it. And I realized that directing does the most good for the most people. Whereas when you're an actor, it's just me, baby. And of course, you think about ensemble, you think about what you bring to the ensemble as an actor, and I
Yeah.
don't shortchange acting at all. Um, but that was like a turning point um, that happened during that production.
And I love how you phrase that.
I
The
gotta,
director does the most good for everybody.
yeah, it does the most good for the most people.
Yeah.
In my point of view, that I was getting actors to do great work, the designers,
Yeah.
you know, uh, and that I was seeing how we were serving the writing,
Yeah.
that we were giving these guys a voice and giving these women a voice. The women in the Full Monty are so strong,
Oh, I love it.
you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Love that show.
and and I realized that's where you got to work at being better. That's is what you got to develop. This is what you got to work on bringing to the theater.
Love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah. What are some of the your favorite lessons that you've learned that you would impart to
Um,
aspiring artists today?
I love I don't know how this started to develop, what happened, but I realized how collaborative theater has to be and to take the ego out of it. And some actors have made their careers on I want this and I hate that and we'll do this. Their directorial flourish is what makes the show.
Hmm.
Um, but I realized that I wasn't going to be that kind of director. That there were three things, and I don't know where I got this from. I can't remember where I got it, but I have it written down here at my desk.
Okay.
Let me do it. Yeah. Honor the playwright, honor the audience, honor the artists.
Hmm.
And to do that, you got to take your ego out of it.
Hmm.
So I started to consciously stop using I, me, mine when I talk,
Huh.
when I write. I don't want anything. This moment wants this. The
Mm.
scene is written for this to happen. The song wants this. The character wants this. I'll
Huh.
say to a designer or an actor, what do you want?
Mm.
But it's not about what I want. And yeah, okay, at the end of the day, yes, it it all looks like it's directed by, you know,
Sure. Yeah.
but the way I found the way I wanted to get there was by that type of collaboration, that type of I came up with this as I became artistic director here at Paramount. You're not hired to take orders.
Mm.
We spoke and we want your creativity here. We want you to create here, not to be told what to do,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference in the atmosphere,
Oh, absolutely.
you know?
Yep.
Uh, that I I love preparing. I love research. I love reading about the playwright and where they were in their lives when they wrote something, what they were responding to,
Yeah.
and the period they would put their writing in and what the period was about.
Yeah.
Um, Getting as prepared as I can with that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I'm always ready for stuff I didn't know about. And that's the stuff that makes a difference to me.
Yeah.
Every time I say, I didn't know that, let's
Yeah.
do that. I didn't think of that, let's do that.
Yeah.
Those are the things that make it alive,
Yeah.
that
Make it
everyone's
exciting.
work is part of their energy,
Yeah.
their creativity,
Yeah.
that everyone's a creative.
Right. It's an ensemble piece, including the audience. I had a,
Including pre-production,
yeah.
including, yes, before we get with the cast, that's an ensemble of
Hmm.
designers, of technicians. Um, then we get with the cast.
Hmm.
Um, and then, yes, John, very much so, remembering the audience. There's a type of art, I do it for myself,
Hmm.
but I do. I do it for me,
Hmm.
and I realized, we're here for our audience.
Hmm.
That's our purpose. It's, you start finding yourself putting things into words that are interesting. Interesting. A turn of phrase is, this isn't a business, it's a service.
Mm. I
You
love
know,
that. Yeah.
we're, yeah, we got to watch the box office. We got to figure out how to get people to come.
Yeah.
But what it's about and what gets people to come is when they realize it's to serve their lives. It's to come to the theater and have it become part of their lives. That they become theater goers. And that's been something about the most gratifying thing about being in Aurora, a real blue collar community.
Yeah.
People began coming to the theater for the first time. I don't
Incredible.
know about that. That's not my thing. Well, here, come see this one show.
Yeah.
They see one show, they become subscribers.
Yeah.
You know, um, I'm just going on and on.
No, that's okay. It's remarkable what you guys have achieved there. And since we have landed here, I want to make mention, of course, the Jeff Awards coming up. This interview is going to be part of Jeff Awards Week here on the podcast. And you guys have the most nominations this season with 26 awards, beating your own prior
I even
record.
heard it was the most ever,
Oh,
the most nominated, but I don't know if that's true.
I don't I that might
But
be
I
news to
kind
me
of
as well.
heard that, and I go, I don't know. And I'll tell you, John, I don't keep track of that. I
But that
don't.
yeah, no,
It's
that's
it's
perfectly fine.
I mean, it's great. Yes, it has a prestige about it, and yes, it's very appreciated.
Yeah.
to have a group of people acknowledge uh, so many parts of how we produce,
Yeah.
from, lighting and sound and costumes and, as well as actors and directors. That's a lot of recognition.
It is. It is.
It's very appreciated.
Yeah. And
But what were you going to ask me about?
no, I just wanted to make mention of that because it is quite impressive, of course, what you guys have built from scratch over the many, many years and having the largest subscriber uh, audience in the country.
It's
I
yeah,
mean,
it's at 40,000 subscribers.
truly remarkable. In what you admitted was like a blue collar town, kind of not doing much of anything. I joked with Jim Jarvis when I had him on. We have to re-record his episode because the audio was bad. But what we did say
Uh,
is, I said to him, I never heard of Aurora, Illinois, with the exception of Wayne and Garth in Wayne's World. That was the only way I knew what Aurora
right,
was. And
right.
so when I heard the yeah.
These
And so
guys in the basement.
right. So what I mean, the fact that you guys have sort of really revitalized downtown is remarkable.
Well, it just shows you what it can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I give all the credit to Tim because I could never dream this would happen.
Hmm.
What our theater making would do to a community.
Yeah.
I never dreamed it. I just, I come in and go to work, and it opens and it gets a response, and we go on to the next one, and it just keeps snowballing.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, it's just about being in the present and not looking at results,
Hmm.
not looking at achievements. It's like, okay, what are we doing now?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
um, and enjoying that. Like, oh God, True West, showing up for rehearsals for True West every day was like the most incredible, remarkable thing with all the shit going on in our lives
Hmm.
to come in and deal with this war going on between these brothers.
Hmm.
Such an easy metaphor for the turmoil, not just in our country, but in world powers,
Yeah. Yeah.
in world history right now.
Yeah.
Um, and the brilliance they were bringing to it.
Yeah.
Watching them create in the moment these details in their characterizations that I got to watch happen,
Yeah.
you know?
The,
Um, so that's where I'm at with all that stuff.
yeah. Well, it's a huge credit, as you said, to Tim, but also to you. I hope you can enjoy some of the value that
I
you've brought to the table as well, because
there is
it's
great joy in it. Believe
good,
me,
good,
I'm having the time of my life.
amazing.
And now, well, it's been 14 years.
Oh wow. Do you ever
You
think you'd be
know,
living in Aurora, Illinois at this stage of
yeah,
your life?
I drove up in the fall of 2010, and there wasn't a car on the street, and the only person on the street was Tim Rader. And I park, he's at the car, walks me right into the theater, says hello. That's about it. He knows once I see that theater, he's got me. And that's exactly what happened. I walk into
Incredible.
that place and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I could work here? And it was like, I'm on a dolly in slow motion. I'm going, what? 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 And I'm looking at this giant proscenium. I worked at the Goodman. I worked at Drury Lane. Uh, this was the biggest house I had ever seen.
Yeah.
Even Broadway houses are half this size.
Yeah.
Uh, and I look at the pit, this huge pit.
Yeah.
We go up on stage, and again, it's one of those things. receiving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He goes, Tim is like nervous, right? He's like, will you do it? And I don't know how I knew how to say this, John. I said, if we get a full pit doing the original orchestrations the way the composer heard it in their heads,
Mm-hmm.
and a week of tech, not just 2, 3 days, but
Mm-hmm.
a week of tech,
Yeah.
you got an artistic director. And he says, I can make that happen.
Amazing.
And then he goes, so will you do it? And I said, I'll tell you tomorrow. Because if I say yes now, I'm going to change my life right now.
Yeah.
At least think about it overnight. Because, I have been in awe of artistic directors my whole career up until then. There I was in my 60s, here 14 years ago. And there were all the great artistic directors I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was about to change my life. And so, yeah, I call him the next day and I say, yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
I was working on a couple shows. I was directing Aida at Drury Lane, Elton John's Aida,
Yeah.
and I was doing Grease at American Theater Center, ATC.
Mm-hmm.
PJ Paparelli.
Yeah.
PJ.
I hopped into that production to cover Kaniki for 3 performances. I don't know if you remember that.
No!
Because Tony Clarno had to go get
Wow.
married, and I had auditioned for it, and they called me
You
and
had
just
to
like,
get married.
hey, Tony Clarno went to get married, yeah, and they were like, can John come and hop in, play Kaniki for 3? I
Oh,
was like, what do you mean hop in? Like actually do it, like not just cover it. They're like, no, we need him to stuff it, and it was a blast. I mean, it was
wasn't
trial
it
by fire. Oh,
beautiful?
it was super great production. Some of my dear friends to this day I met in that show,
Wow.
and it was, I mean, an amazing show. When I went to go see it and sat in there, kind of like you, I thought, I'm going to be doing this show because it was phenomenal and
Well,
ran forever. I mean,
when you realize how sanitized the show got,
yeah,
and to have Jim Jacobs come back
yeah,
and work with PJ, and they put it back into the fall of a Chicago suburb.
yeah.
We actually took a trip out to the school. God, so long ago, I can't remember where.
Taft
We
in the
actually
Northwest,
looked at that high school
yeah,
campus.
Northwest Side, Taft High School on the
Yeah,
Northwest Side.
yeah, Taft.
I pass it on my
That's
way to
it.
O'Hare every single time I go to O'Hare.
That was it.
Yeah, what a
And
great show.
how, you know, it was meant to be a kind of dark teenage experience,
Yeah, yeah,
the winter and the rain and the cold,
yeah.
not California, not LA,
No,
and how to make these characters real people,
yeah,
uh, like they've become cartoony, they become caricatures,
yeah,
and they're really based on real people.
right.
And you got the author there, you got Jim Jacobs there
Yeah,
talking about these are real people, everybody, um, and getting a hold of that.
yeah,
And it gave Greece a whole nother level of experience,
for sure. And if there was ever a Chicago take on a show, that was quintessentially it.
Chicago does a Chicago-based show,
Absolutely.
you
In,
know?
in the setting that it was in, like small storefront, the set for Walt Spangler was spectacular. I mean, spectacular in
Right.
like a grungy way. It was all
I'm
around.
blanking on names, but I remember Kinnicky in that car.
Yeah,
Oh God, it was so cool.
yeah, yeah. The whole show. And I loved every minute of being part of it for the 2 weeks I was part of it.
How great, John.
Yeah.
We've got we're putting new actors into $1 Million Quartet in the Stope Island Theater.
Oh, fun.
We've got a new Elvis that everybody should come see. We've got a Johnny Cash who's going to be with us for a couple months while the original is away. These guys are dynamite. And we've got White Christmas coming up, Dear Evan Hansen, and South Pacific.
All great shows.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I just want to thank you one last time for joining me here today.
Because, guys, can you tell I am having fun doing this? Can you tell?
I can.
I love doing this stuff.
Well, listen,
you get to talk about things you never get to talk.
Right. And unless asked. And so I'm glad I asked. Will you be at the Jeffs on the 29th?
We'll see.
Okay. Well, we're
see how that works out.
We're going to be doing a live stream that night, doing a red carpet interviews and stuff. So we'd love to see you there. If so, if not, best of luck at the Jeffs. I know it's not all about the awards, but they're well-deserved nominations. And
thank you.
Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me here. Like I said, it's great to think about all this stuff and talk about all this stuff that you never really get to. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us at the Chicago Theater Makers Podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. The Chicago Theater Makers Podcast is a production of Spirit Art LLC, and our podcast theme music is by Paul Langford. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the podcast, please drop us a note at our website, ChiTheaterMakersPodcast.com. That's ChiTheater, makers with an S, podcast.com. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us as much as we enjoyed spending it with you, and we'll see you on the board soon.